Welcome to Off the Page. I'm Will Cain. I'm with Denver Post columnist, Reason Magazine columnist, Real Clear Politics columnist, Dave Harsanyi, who I'm meeting right now for the first time on Skype. Hey, Dave.
How's it going?
Good. And you?
Pretty good. Thanks.
So, Dave, you've written about this. Comedy Central, that bastion of brave, irreverent, comedic social commentary, has hit the censorship button on South Park for depicting the image of the Prophet Muhammad, albeit in a bear costume. But still, some YouTuber, I guess, like me, said it was likely to end up in the deaths of Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park. He wouldn't threaten them or anything. He was just saying, right?
Right.
So you got a big problem with this. You wrote a column about it, right?
Right. I do have a big problem with it. First of all, and I didn't write about this, I'm not so sure how serious we should have taken this threat, or they should have taken this threat. I'm not in their position, obviously. But it seemed like sort of a bunch of quacks in New York. Didn't seem that serious to me. But I mean, the message we send, and there's the obvious hypocrisy of constantly making fun of Jesus or whoever, and being scared to make fun of Muhammad. I think it just shows just a cowardly way of approaching things, especially since it's a cartoon in South Park where it is irreverent and they do mock mercilessly and in really gross sort of fashion almost anything and everyone. So, yeah.
I'm sure that it is cowardly, but look, we should say this is self-censorship. It's no nasty big brother governmental censorship. It's self-censorship. And isn't self-censorship in the pursuit of self-preservation maybe legit? I mean, staying alive is a good reason, right?
It can be. You have to be real brave not to want to stay alive. But, yeah, it's self-censorship. I mean, it is not anything to do with government, or anyone sticking their nose in their business there. And people self-censor all the time. I'm censored. I can't write whatever I want in a newspaper. So I have no real problem with that. But when you look at South Park's history and the things that they've mocked, it just sends the wrong message. The message it sends is that if you threaten me with some violence, I'll back down, especially if it has to do with Islam. So that was my problem with it.
And they're not the only ones, by the way, Comedy Central. I mean, Yale University Press has done the same thing. They chose not to reproduce the Danish cartoons with drawings of Muhammad. So do you see this then as kind of a societal thing for us that we're essentially also incentivizing Islamic violence by like a child, they're getting what they want?
Yeah, I don't know if we're incentivizing it yet here, but certainly we're sending a message that violence or threats work, even veiled threats like the ones that Comedy Central had gotten work. So I think that's the message we're sending. And I'm sure you read about, I forget the date, I think it's May 10th, where it's Draw Muhammad Day, where everyone, many journalists and so forth will draw their own version of Muhammad to sort of dilute the targets. Which I thought was a good idea at first, but I sort of rethought my position on that.
It's May 20th, by the way, so you're not going to be participating in Draw Muhammad Day?
I'm sort of chewing over this whole thing. I think it almost unnecessarily, not provocative, but, you're insulting a lot of people who have nothing to do with violence, and it just seems sort of over the top now that I sort of thought about it a bit. So I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what your decision will be on that, because I don't know if I agree there. It makes me wonder, what if I unwittingly drew Muhammad? I don't know what he looks like. I've never seen a depiction of him. What if I was trying to draw a picture of a Saudi oil prince or Sacramento King Sharif Abdur Rahim? I mean, I could unwittingly draw Muhammad. Would that be wrong?
You'd have to ask an imam or something like that. My problem with it is I was thinking about it from a different aspect. If I'm Jewish, culturally Jewish, and someone went out there and just wanted to insult all Jews because of something that's happening in Israel, let's say, I'd find that, gratuitously offensive and unnecessary. So I'm not sure I want to be involved in something of that nature, though I think sending the message that we're not going to be intimidated by threats is also a good one. So, you have to weigh those two things.
Right. Okay. Hey, you guys can check out Dave's column at Denver Post, at denverpost.com. He's also, like I said, at Real Clear Politics and off and on at Reason Magazine. You can follow me on Twitter at Will Cain and see what interviews are coming up and submit some questions. Thanks, Dave.
Anytime. Thank you.